Philippines, I am leaving the 1st,
Hmm.
and then I'm going to be gone for like 19 days. So they're bringing people from Australia, I think Canada, like France and
Hmm.
US, and just people doing different things in the within the Filipino food
Hmm.
world, big and small, and kind of just putting us all in one space and having a grand tasting and
Hmm.
going to the motherland, I guess you could say,
Hmm.
and just kind of experiencing stuff together and
Hmm.
showcasing our cuisine in a different light for the folks in the Philippines.
What are you most excited about
I'm
for this
excited to
trip?
meet other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like you see like that's a great thing about social media,
Yeah.
right? Is you see everybody doing their
Their
things
thing.
in their respective restaurants. And what's good about the Filipino community is that we're like uplifting of each other.
Hmm.
At least that's how I feel. Like when
Hmm.
you see somebody else in Australia doing their thing and repping our food, I'm like, hell yeah, dude.
Hmm.
That's so cool.
Hmm.
And doing it their way with Australian ingredients or whatever it may be. And I'm like, it's just another perspective of being Filipino and something else.
Hmm.
And then bringing it back to like the homeland where that's the Mecca. It's and doing our versions, I think, and sharing it with people, with maybe people who haven't been to Australia, with people who haven't been to the States. It's
Hmm.
like, oh, this is how our food can look also,
Hmm.
and breaking that whole authenticity versus traditional and
Hmm.
all of the things when you start to do cultural food. It's like, it's pretty cool, and I want to meet all these people instead
Hmm.
of just seeing them on Instagram.
Hmm.
Yeah,
You're like, I've been supporting your post for so long. Now it's time that
yeah, I
we
want to
enjoy
like, yeah,
enjoy a meal together.
yeah.
So do you have anything planned to sort of do a deeper dive into Filipino food while you're there? Obviously, you have people coming in
Mm-hmm.
from all over the world. Are there any
Mm-hmm.
specific chefs or specific people in country that you're like, I've really been wanting to spend some time with them?
Well, I mean, I learned an interesting fact from Nicole Poinsettia, who she's had Maharlika and Jeepney in New York. She told me that the in by 2030, 50% of the population of the Philippines is going to be under the age of 25.
Wow.
So she feels like there's a lot of opportunity there for business, and a lot of young individuals who are going to do new things in the Philippines will bring like Philippines into a new light. And I
Hmm.
see that wave already happening, like with social media and just maybe the state of their economy. I mean, I don't know everything about the Philippines, but I see a lot of new things happening.
Hmm.
Um, there's like a scene, I guess you could say, in
Mm,
Manila,
mm,
when I don't remember it being like that before. So I'm really excited to being, I guess, more of an adult in the
hmm,
Philippines because I've
hmm,
always gone when I was a lot younger and actually experiencing that scene. There's also a restaurant called Toyo, which
hmm.
is a fine dining tasting menu, um, but super affordable for people who are traveling. I think the tasting menu is like 100 something dollars, which is like nothing to us here,
Wow.
right? But in the Philippines, it's obviously pricey. But they're in world's 50 best, and they got a big award. Part of that in regards to hospitality,
Mm,
and I always say the Filipino hospitality is something special. It hits a little different, but that's because I'm biased. But it's that
hmm,
welcoming, have you eaten yet?
mm.
Making sure you've eaten. Just stuff that I grew up with, and that it's nice to see that it gets a little love in a world
Hmm.
in a world
It's funny that
platform.
something I was going to ask you later on is like, how would you define Filipino hospitality? And you're
Oh,
talking about it a little bit, but maybe expand upon that.
it's it's always making sure that the people are fed and taken care of.
Hmm.
I grew up in a household where we didn't have much, but my parents were always willing to give something, even if
Mm,
it wasn't a lot. And one of it was food. And I was kind of instilled with me, even like when I would take my school lunch and I'd see somebody else who didn't have much, and I would just split everything that I had. And even
wow.
if it was rice and something else, while some other kid is maybe having a peanut butter and jelly sandwich
Hmm.
or a Lunchable, like I was always taught to share, even though you
Hmm.
didn't have anything. And
Lunchables. I haven't heard Lunchables in a long
I know
time.
it's the kid
I
charcuterie
used to I
board,
used to
yeah.
crush those. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Yeah, the kids charcuterie
Yeah,
plate.
now you think it was a kids charcuterie. Yeah, but it's so funny. You can play it and stuff. But
Yeah.
no, but I even had kids like when I started to become more popular, like my friends would reach out to me like it's so much makes so much sense that you became a chef.
Yeah.
I wish you like, you go through your whole life, figure out what you want to do, and then when
Sure.
figured out I wanted to be a chef and work in this industry, and once I got in, I'm like, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And then I still have friends who come and visit me. They're like, dude, I remember you would bring like Filipino food in your
Yeah.
lunch and you would share with us instead of us. Some kids would be like, ew, what are you eating? And then you'd be like, no, 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 try it. And then so I think that's like a small inkling of how our culture is. And, like most cultures, you come to a Filipino party, there's enough food for you and the rest of your family, and then enough to take home. So
Yeah.
they
For
have food
everyone to
for
take home.
exactly for you have legit, like we jokingly have to go boxes already, like part
I
of
love
the,
that.
setup. And then so that you take food home so you eat it for the next couple
Yeah.
days. It's meant to be abundant and overly sharing and making sure
Hmm.
everybody's included, and it's always a party. That's what I think about when it comes to Filipino hospitality is sharing anything that you can, even if it's a little bit, making for it inclusive,
Hmm.
inclusive in that way. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. You and I were chatting. This was a few weeks ago, and you called San Diego the middle child between
Yeah.
LA and and
I
and
did say that.
and Valle de Guadalupe, because
Yeah.
obviously I was
You
heading.
remember that?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was heading. Well, it stuck with me. I think I
Yeah.
actually wrote it down afterwards. But I think you said something like, it's the middle child between LA and Valle de Guadalupe,
Yeah.
often
Mexico.
sort
Yeah.
of overlooked. You
Mm-hmm.
know, what what do you see that others might miss about San Diego's culinary identity, but just identity in general?
Well, I mean, you're stuck, not stuck, but you're sandwiched between two really great places. Mexico, which is obviously culturally rich, and you have Valle and Tijuana is literally 20 minutes from my house, and then you have LA, where there's a concentration of just people, right? So somebody who's born and raised from LA, like knowing that, and then experiencing San Diego and experiencing Mexico, I feel like a lot of people look at us as like as a destination, but not enough to be like, I'm gonna stay there and
Mm,
actually go there to hang out, and or it's more like a stopover between here and Mexico, right? Um, so yeah, that's what I mean by the middle child. It's like you get some attention, but not enough attention. But you're there and you have a lot to offer, but still not getting enough love because maybe the LA, the big sister, is doing things, and the baby, or called like the bunso, which is baby brother in Tagalog,
mhm,
is starting to get more attention. Like,
mm,
but it's okay. Like I think our scene is growing. I
mm,
think the last 5 years have grown tremendously. I've been there for 14 years now,
mm,
and I feel like the last 5 years there's a wave of chefs and young individuals and people who just want to do what they want to do,
mm,
or maybe all of us who've been wanting to do stuff are grown up enough to be able to do it.
mhm, mhm.
A lot of my friends are in the industry who are doing anything, are doing something now, and San Diego's like I had to say, like, for lack of comparison, like big fish little pond. Like
Mm,
a lot of us have worked together at some point, and and there's people who stand out, and we're all kind of part of that group, and we all want each other to succeed. At least that's how I feel, because how else is San Diego going to get any more light if we don't
yeah.
work together to do it? LA's a little different beast. Like she's been around,
Mhm,
she's been
mhm,
standing. Now
mhm,
it's just everybody trying to make it there versus us, where we're trying to uplift each other.
mhm.
Getting a Michelin, like Addison, props to Addison to getting 3 Michelin stars. That's a big win for San Diego as a whole, and Lilo getting one after being open for just a few months. It's like, hell yeah. Like, props to them. Like, as soon as they open, I made a reservation. I was like, I want to go and support,
Mm,
because I know this is going to be sick.
mhm,
I know this is going to be dope, and it's going to bring love to our city.
mhm,
And sure enough, it did.
mhm,
Eric and William are killing it. They're
mhm.
killing it. And I want the people down south to just be able to do the same. And James Beard for me has helped me, not just me, but the city as well, and just take us a little more seriously.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. How do you think you've made it your mission to kind of shift that narrative a little bit? Because I feel like maybe whether you like it or not, you're an ambassador of San
Yeah,
Diego
yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I think it's just I don't think I'm forcing it. It's just I've always been a person that I knew going through this industry that is collaborative.
Mm,
One of the things I was learned for a successful restaurant is collaboration,
mm,
and not just within our four walls, but I wanted to do it with anybody who was doing anything in our city, or somebody who maybe is very talented and didn't have a platform to do it. Anybody who loves food, and I've worked really hard or intentionally going about my career in that city. Like I didn't really get to work anywhere else, and I wanted to, but I always just stayed there.
mm,
But staying there, I was very intentional who I built relationships with, kind of keep my ear to the ground and see what people are doing. And I think when I started Animae, I had the opportunity to do that, so I just utilized it.
mm-hmm,
And they supported it, so we just kind of kept rolling with it. My team and I, we just saw anybody who was doing anything, and then now that we're at this level, we're trying to expand that from instead of Anime to the city of San Diego, now to more LA, and then now more nationally.
mm-hmm,
So just keep growing that radius of who can we collaborate with.
mm-hmm.
And uh, it's better when people rise together versus just individually.
Oh, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. Also, it's not far.
No. Yeah,
Either.
it's just annoying to
I
get
mean,
to.
of
I
course,
think
of
we had this
course.
conversation too.
Yeah, it's but we do have to remind ourselves. I mean, we're sitting in Los Angeles right now on the West Side, and it's really not. Yes, when you get stuck in that traffic, it's a
Hmm.
pain in the ass,
Yeah.
but it's not that far. But you have sometimes people who don't even leave their neighborhood
Hmm.
in LA.
Hmm. Right.
Better yet, planning
Right.
planning a trip. But just in your words, like for people who I was someone who hadn't been back down to San Diego in probably 6 7 years,
That's crazy. It's only
which
2 hours away,
well
dude.
I've gone to New York more than I have, and
Yeah, I
obviously
get
that
it.
a
I
lot of
get it.
that
I get it.
is more work related and where I'm being taken. But um, what would be your kind of call to action for our friends, both industry and also that passionate food and drinks lover of like come and explore.
Well, I mean, I mean, being born and raised in LA, I get that, right? You don't want to deal with the traffic because you know it's always going to be there. I think, if you're wanting to have a good time and getting away and not worrying about traffic, um, and our food scene's getting better, like why not visit us? Like the
Hmm.
train is right there. Like the end stop for the train, Amtrak, is right next to Anime,
Hmm.
which is convenient, and there's a lot of hotels right around us.
Yeah.
Um, but it's nice because like San Diego, there's a lot of things to see, and you don't have to deal with as much traffic as you do with
Hmm.
LA. You just got to deal with the annoying traffic from getting from point A to
Hmm.
our city, but once you're there, it's super chill. Like some people say it's a little too chill sometimes. I'm all like, if you think this is too chill, I know other places that are super chill.
And New
um
Yorkers will say that about LA. You know,
exactly. And I'm like, yo, like different levels
you're
of
like you haven't
like,
seen anything yet.
yeah, but that's why, people gravitate towards different things.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I ended up staying. But I think there's just a lot of opportunity in
Yeah.
San Diego. Like I said, there's people, it's growing, but we still need more,
Mm,
and
mm,
I want to push against that. Like I think the hardest thing about Anime when we started was, I'm in a special case of like I have a restaurant that's 100 and plus seats, pretty grand, serving Asian food. And in San Diego, there's not a lot of that type of
mhm,
spaces. Like you
mhm.
came in and you said, "Wow, this space is big," and
Oh
there's a
yeah,
lot of places in LA is not like this. So
yeah,
I had a unique opportunity to really
for
capitalize
sure.
on that. And so, but in general, getting people to maybe try new foods. I
Mm,
think there's a lot of us in the city that want new
mm,
things,
mm,
and we just need people to come and
mm,
do it. And so my hardest thing when I was doing Anime is that balance of giving people what they know are comfortable with and what they want,
mm.
and pushing it where I'm giving them things that they might never had
Pushing the
before.
boundaries a
Yeah,
little
it's a
bit.
it's a
Yeah.
happy, like a happy middle of the two, because at
Hmm.
the end of the day you have to make money, right? You can't just cook for myself and just expect everybody to like it. Like that's not how
Hmm.
you run a business at
Hmm.
the end of the day, or take care of your people.
Hmm.
um but it was a slow growth of getting people to trust me, and as they come in, be like, oh, that was a really good meal from beginning to end.
Mm,
I'm gonna come back, and then you put something like the pig ears on the
mm,
menu,
mm.
and then they're like, yo, this is good.
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah,
yeah,
I told you it was good,
yeah.
but you just have to try it.
Well, it's about establishing trust,
Yes,
you know, with
that's, and it took
with
5 years to
with your
get to.
customer, with your guest.
Yeah, and then having, just a recognition of JBF, even if I was on the semifinal like list, would have been like, oh, she knows what she's
Yeah,
doing. And then having that trust from people in the city, be like, no, go eat there,
yeah,
eat everything on the menu. Doesn't
sure.
matter what you order, and doing that and being consistent in that way to be able to execute a menu where you have a menu where like, everything tasted great.
Yeah,
That's a great problem.
yeah,
And so, but to get to that point was super hard. But if we're at that point, then other people can come and be like, yo, there's people that want that.
hmm
Give me something that's hella Japanese, something that's
mm,
in
mm,
your face Thai. Give me funky,
mm.
because everybody does pad Thai, everybody does things.
Sure.
But give me something that's like maybe regional to your city
Yeah.
and like give it to us. Because in LA, you'll find it somewhere. But in San Diego, it's a little more difficult.
Yeah, we've talked to so many chefs, who do more of a traditional fine dining tasting
Mm-hmm.
menu, but there is that sort of balance of establishing trust right from the onset with the
Yeah.
first few bites,
Yes.
where all of a sudden people are like, okay, that was really delicious.
Yes.
And then
Like
you
what
could,
else?
okay, you could push the boundaries a little
Mm-hmm.
bit. Maybe let's challenge them with a few dishes that they're like, I wasn't.
I wouldn't normally
I
order
wouldn't normally
that,
order this,
but I
or
really liked it.
I'm not even sure what the ingredients are exactly, but
But just sit and enjoy it.
exactly,
Yes.
exactly,
Just let me feed you.
yeah,
And I think I love getting picky eaters.
yeah,
I love that. Like, I love when people tell me, like, no, like, you don't know. This guy is a picky eater. He
Yeah.
ate everything. I'm like,
bring it,
bring it. Like, come on. Let me keep changing your mind.
Yeah.
And I want more people to do that in our city.
yeah,
But it's a slow build.
Yeah.
It's certain areas are stuck in their area, and I can't change their palate,
well, there's
but I can
tradition,
try.
there's history, there's
Yeah.
microcultures that sometimes things move slow.
Yeah, but that's what's cool about like pop-up culture in San Diego is cracking right now. Like,
Mm,
and I think what's great about that is that people get to test out their ideas and whether there's a market for it. And
I love that.
yeah, and I love pop-ups, but like it's a good way. And like places like my friend's place, Bika, like
Mm.
me and Charlie and Manny, we all worked for the same company called Tender Greens for a while, and
Mhm.
we learned how to run
Hey,
businesses.
listen, we all know tender greens. Come
Yeah,
on now.
but see, a lot of people don't know what's
You
up,
said
you know?
you said
Yeah.
it like people don't know. Like tender greens is
No,
like
it
OG.
produced a lot of great chefs.
Yeah,
Like shout
yeah.
out to that group because they taught us how to cook with
Yeah.
local. They taught us how to cook with what's seasonal.
For
They
sure.
taught us how to run businesses.
Yeah.
All things that are necessary to be successful,
sure.
right? Not just to mom and pop it,
Yeah.
And so yeah, my friends, like we have a community of us who all of us kind of branched out of there and who are doing things in the city. And one of them is Bika, and every Monday they have pop-ups for anybody who wants to test out an idea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's become this like industry watering hole.
That's
And
very cool.
and very intentional of what I knew they wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I went to every pop-up, anything that I could support, had my team start coming through. And then, like we talked about earlier, like one thing leads to another.
For sure.
And now they're the cafe to go to in the morning, and
Very cool.
who are serving really great quality food that is just very them.
Yeah.
Very them, and supporting other people who want to do that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, pop-up game and like is great in San Diego. Like the amount of fundraisers we do, like there's like ones that groups that do like pastries, and it's like
Mm.
20 pastry chefs who gather together to do like this pastry pop-up at a coffee shop, and you just see so many people there
Mhm.
because it's crazy because you see the same people all the time
Mhm.
because it's the same people who want it.
Mhm.
And then other people see you doing it. They're like, yo, what do you do on the weekends? And they're like, oh, but I went to this. And you start seeing new people.
Yeah.
And then it's like, that's what I mean. It just takes
Yeah. Then there's that ripple
ripple effect. And
you know?
I want more people to buy into that
Yeah.
in San Diego. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I've been working so hard at it with our team. And it's like, I just want everybody to do it. And granted, I know I can't make everybody do it, but it'd be so much fun if
Mhm.
everybody just did it together.
Mhm.
Like we finally had industry only night, which is with us, and Lily helped organize that.
Hmm.
Who is our director of marketing, and she built that relationship and like build it, bridging that gap from LA and
Hmm.
getting people to see that we're doing something here too is like it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's that. I think that's super important. Like extending the olive branch, and
Yeah.
even if you jokingly say you're the middle child, it's like the middle child often is the one that like breaks down the barriers of
Yeah.
the
You're
other kids
fighting.
in the
You're working twice
family.
as hard. Yeah. But like I've always kind of been that way. I've always wanted to collaborate. I've never, I don't want to have that crab mentality.
Yeah,
It's just not me.
yeah,
Yeah. So whatever. I just want everybody. I'm not homie at a party who wants everybody to have fun and be at my level.
yeah,
If you know what I mean? Like, are you buzzed? Are you like, no,
yeah,
let's
yeah,
start
yeah.
this.
Hold on,
Let's
hold
keep
on.
this
Catch
going.
up, catch up.
Let's
You're
keep
like,
this going. I want everybody at my level here.
yeah.
Let's all have fun together. And
I love.
you can ask anybody. I'm like, no, 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 let's round this up right now. Yeah.
Or you're like, you need to slow down.
Or you need to chill.
You
Yeah,
need to
they're
slow
like,
down.
yeah.
You're like the ant. Like you go from being
Yes.
the hype to the hey, you're going too fast.
Yeah. Well, my mentor told me the one thing that stuck with me is that he told me there's enough room for everybody in this industry. And I feel like there's a lot of people who, unfortunately, I've encountered a lot of people who don't feel the same way, and it's like, and I'm not trying to air that out, but it is, I'm up for friendly competition, to make you, I think that competition is
That
healthy.
no, but what you're saying is just realness.
Yeah.
There are people who
Who don't want to see other people succeed.
yeah,
Yeah.
or yeah, the thing that I've talked to a lot of people about this and even a little bit on this show, but it's like for some reason you or someone else gaining something,
Mm-hmm.
they might not even be in the same industry,
Yeah.
but they feel like they're losing some. That lack mentality,
Yeah.
that scarcity mindset
Haters. Yeah.
is yeah, exactly.
For lack of a better term,
I
haters.
I
Yeah.
always think about John Favreau's film Chef,
Oh,
where
yeah.
his son he talks about, he's like, we didn't have that term hater, but he's like, that's the best way
Yeah.
to
To one
describe
word.
it.
One word. Yeah.
But I think you're right. Like it there's a world in which you can be competitive
Mm-hmm.
and you could be friends and you can also support each other. But like, I just believe everybody can win because
Yeah.
everyone's
Why not?
doing,
Yeah.
I believe there's enough out there in the world, in the universe,
Yes.
that everybody can get what they want,
Yes. Yeah.
but you have to work for it.
Exactly. It was you want to be good or you want to be great, and it's like I say this to my staff all the time, and that's a term that we've all kind of picked up in our group. That is kind of spread. Is like you either want to be good or you want to be great, and it's like again, like I understand that San Diego, it almost feels. I know maybe somebody might disagree that it might feel big fish little pond, but I want to be, and I've been working towards being the little fish in a big pond, so that I can start growing and challenge myself, so I can be one of the big fish in the big pond. I'm not one to settle. That's what's great about this industry is that there's constant growth. If
For
not
sure.
like skills wise, like me being a better leader, being a better manager, being just a better person in this industry, or a representative or ambassador, as you said, of our city. It's like there's constant growth. Like me, the chef I was 5 years ago versus the down, completely different chef. Like just how I've grown personally and not just culinary wise, just all of the other little bits that I've worked on to just be a better person overall is out there, and I want to keep going. And if I'm in this pond and I'm known as like a bigger fish, which like other people told me, like I'm very much, my friend is always flexing that like, hey, she's a JBF finalist. I'm like cringing. I'm like, I have to say it. He literally did it to me this morning. But I want to keep challenging myself, and that healthy competition is a great thing. And I just want to. I don't know. I just don't want to stop growing. I don't feel like I've gotten even close to where I could be.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
that's a beautiful thing, is like, I always say 1% better
Yes,
every day.
every
It's
day.
very difficult
And it's hard to teach
be
that.
to be 50% or 100% better every day.
Mhm.
Some days you can, But
Yeah.
most days, if you become if and that's over time, you
Yeah.
become 1% better. That's how you get to great.
Yes.
Ultimately,
Yeah, I mean, you're human. You gotta give yourself some grace. But
yeah.
like, I've always, once I decided this career, because I used to be a nursing student, and then once I decided, I was very more sure of myself.
Hmm.
And then I knew that every relationship I would encounter, or every work that place that I would take a job at, I wanted to take something from there, whether
Hmm.
it's good or bad, of what not to do or what to do,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And so, yeah, and I'm still kind of maneuvering that, but in a sense of in a different way of growing outside of just being a chef.
Hmm.
Like,
Hmm.
what I've learned after the opportunities have presented itself, like especially after the last 2 years, is like sky's the limit, man. Like
Yeah.
you can build relationships with different people in this industry, and there's so many outlets. It's like you never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like you said with like what you said about like that one interview that you had, and it's made
Yeah,
ways for
yeah.
other
Again,
things. Yeah,
talking about like the ripple effect of
yeah,
how opportunities present
yeah.
themselves. I think that's the thing that's really interesting. And for the right personality and for the right person, I think they could really take advantage of it. But I
Hmm.
think it's also very challenging
Yeah,
nowadays to be, well, you're a chef, you're a mentor, you're a leader,
yeah. All of the things, lots of
you're
hats.
you're a therapist,
Yes, a mom
you're an
sometimes.
ambassador. Yeah, it's there is a lot asked
Yeah,
of chefs. There is a
yeah.
lot asked
A lot
of.
of people don't know that. Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah.
and and it's challenging because at the end of the day, the thing that you have to excel in
Mhm.
is, well, there's several areas, but then you're pulled in so many different directions, and
Yeah.
then you're expected to excel in all of those areas as well.
Yes, and I'm very hard on myself. Like I want to do great at everything. Like I was already hard enough with one restaurant, and I spread myself between two, between Anime and Lecoq, and it's like my biggest worry was that I couldn't give fully myself to one spot.
Mm.
But luckily, I have a great team. But that's it. It's true. Like I think like people ask like, is it like the bear? But what I appreciate about the bear, is especially in the second season, they capture the struggle
Mm.
of internally of what a chef goes through, especially a chef who really cares. And um and a lot of people, it's almost a lonely feeling because you're the only chef in the building, supposed to be, right?
Mm.
And with all of that on their shoulders, so it can be lonely in a sense, but I feel like that certain episodes really captured that,
Mm.
of that internal struggle of wanting to be great but also having to take care of your team and make sure you do this and do that. And you could try to describe it to a lot of people, but only other chefs know, you know or anybody who's successful, who's at the top of something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because at the end of the day, it's like I remember when I had Kwame Onwuachi on, and we talked about balance, and
yeah.
he's like the
What
reality
balance?
he's like the reality is there isn't much balance.
No, there
He
isn't.
said it's a
No,
lot of sacrifice
it's a lot of
to do
sacrifice of
anything
yourself.
well.
Yeah,
To
yeah.
do anything well, there's a lot of sacrifice, and oftentimes that means sacrificing time with family, time with
Hmm.
friends, and sadly, time for yourself, time for yourself as well.
Dude, I literally had this conversation not that long ago. Like I don't have a lot of time for myself, which I'm used to it at this point. I chose this career knowingly
Mm,
that
mm,
it would be like this and sacrifices, but I think it's just how you go about it.
mhm.
You know what I mean? You can't. But also, I also learned that you can't just pick up people and put them to the side. Like you have to create balance in some way that works for our career or
Mhm.
your life.
Mhm.
I think it is possible, but I think it takes a amount of like vulnerability and openness to be like, yo, or asking
So
for help, honestly.
self-awareness,
Self-awareness,
and
yeah.
that's where if you're self-aware, you can ask for help, and
Yeah,
you
you can
can
ask for help, and like like I encourage my team, like in a small case, like I'm not going to ding you for asking for help, and that whole idea of like hurt, like it's a little toxic, like get your shit together and don't cry about it. Like, no, dude, if you need help, then say something.
yeah.
We're a team, If you're falling, then everybody else is falling, and there's all these other people that help you. If all these people help you in a little way, then you get that shit done,
Yeah.
and then but you have to ask,
Yeah.
and you can't act like you don't need help,
Hmm.
And it's like in a small case, it's kind of forms into this bigger thing, and like, hey, then so I'll pull them to the side. Hey, are you okay? You can talk to me.
It compounds.
It
It
compounds, yeah,
compounds on itself.
yeah.
I want to transition really quickly. I was watching a news interview that you did, and
Oh
you
no,
mentioned
what's wrong?
something. You're like, oh, what did I say?
What did I say?
What did I say? You mentioned Filipino cuisine is often described as humble, or you kind of described it as humble,
Mm-hmm.
and making something soulful out of something very simple.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah.
what do you think that says about the Filipino spirit?
I think we're resilient. Yeah, I think our people are very resilient. It's they're willing to do whatever it takes for their family. At least in my experience, so the biggest export of the Philippines is people. And they travel to, let's say, Dubai to make better money and not see their family for a long time and send it over. It's like very much part of the culture.
Hmm.
And um, like it's I think I say it humble, like most cuisines, it starts from a humble place. I think the battle, I think why I said that is, our food is great, whether it's just what you do with it.
Hmm.
And I'm just trying to present our food in a different way where you can look at it in a different way where it doesn't have to be like scrap ingredients where,
Hmm.
because it was out of resourcefulness, or, we're making something out of nothing. And most food in any culture some of the greatest food comes out of nothing,
100%.
right? It's just time and love
Hmm.
into it.
Hmm.
I know people are like, "Oh, it's so cliche, love," but honestly, it's like be putting that effort into something to make it taste good,
Hmm.
so you can
Hmm.
feed people.
Hmm.
And Filipinos are, I think, just a resilient culture,
Hmm.
and y- and um, I my food is just a different perspective of being a Filipino American,
Hmm.
and that's what you see in anime. But I think the biggest challenge I had was even with my own people, like Filipinos, is wanting to pay more for your Filipino food. You know, a lot.
It's always a
Yeah,
challenge.
I always joke around like when you see Asian folks in the more Asian food, like expensive Asian restaurant, it better be freaking good, man,
Yeah.
because our food, even at a certain price point, like hits like Asian
Yeah.
food. There's so much umami, flavor bomb
Yeah.
in your face, and and if you see other Asians willing to pay that much and understand it, that's like, okay, you're doing something right.
Hmm.
The equation is working,
Hmm. Hmm.
And when I took over anime, the demographic of people changed.
Mm.
It started, and yeah, I started getting more, families coming in, and sometimes it might be that special occasion, but
Mm.
I'll take that, I'll
Hmm.
take that. But just to have those people come and pay more, I'm like, hell yeah, I'm doing something right, and getting the
Hmm.
thumbs up from an aunt or an uncle, be like, yo, pretty solid,
That's a great
yeah.
compliment.
Yeah, you like my Filipino food? I'll take it, dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
because they're hardest to impress, honestly.
Yeah.
Because they how do I say this? Like they like my parents, the or my grandparents, like the dollar to them means something different to the
Mm.
generation now,
Hmm.
and it's out of survival. Like I'm a first generation Filipino American, and my parents came here from the Philippines with nothing. And my mom especially is like this, is like that value of that dollar, no matter how long they've been here, it just means different.
Hmm.
And I stopped being offended by when they said, "Oh, it's so expensive," like I get it.
Yeah.
I get it,
Yeah.
and dining like this is a privilege,
O-
especially nowadays.
Oftentimes with that generation as well, no matter how much time has passed or how much money they've earned,
It doesn't
it's
matter.
still it's still
It's instilled in them.
it's instilled.
Yeah, well, when you come from nothing, you know what I mean, and you built it
Yeah.
from the ground up, so that your family and your future kids and everybody after you has a better life.
Yeah.
There's no way that I think that coming from that makes you again resilient. Like, and dude, I saw my mom literally working downtown, sew pillows by the piece and get paid per the piece, and make buy us able to buy us a house.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And there's this couch that we have at her house. She's had forever, and it's lumpy as hell. I'm like, why do you have this thing? So it's from the 80s.
Yeah.
She's like, and then her answer to me was, I worked hard for that.
Mm.
And then it just kind of finally stuck with me one day.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I get it. I'm gonna leave you alone about it
Hmm.
because they work so hard just to get it,
Hmm.
and then they're like, I'm not gonna let that go. I put a lot of hard work, sweat, and tears into to
Hmm.
get be able to buy that thing. I'm gonna keep it forever. So I just
Yeah, it's that work ethic and even just that mentality. Yeah, it's you can't just go from living that way and then completely switching because you made some
no,
money
yeah,
or
yeah.
something
I
like
think
that.
yeah, it when you grow up that way, I think it's like that drive.
Mm.
And I didn't grow up with the most privileged life, and I think having that and knowing that, it kind of motivates me to keep pushing, to that work ethic.
I mean, in a lot of
S-
ways, it's a blessing.
It's a blessing, yeah. Survival is a
Survive, yeah,
yeah.
survival is a blessing.
No, but no, knowing those lessons, it's like, when things are
Yeah.
hard, you just keep going. You don't give up.
That's like there's this meme on Instagram that my sister jokingly sent me because my parents are first generation
Mm-hmm.
Americans, and it's but we even as second generation we grew up like we were
Yeah,
first
yeah,
generation.
yeah.
And there's this meme that it's a girl like crying from like a 90s movie, and it's like when your parents instilled work ethic instead of a trust
Yeah,
instead of a
I
trust
saw that.
fund.
I saw this other one where he's like hitting the steering
Yeah, yeah,
wheel.
yeah,
You're like, damn
yeah.
it. And I was like, oh my God, I resonate with that
we
so
were we
hard.
we were we were
Uh,
la- we were laughing
I
so
was like,
hard
I
about
can
that.
relate so hard to that. I saw that and I saw that. I was like, that's pretty accurate. That is
Yeah,
pretty
yeah, yeah. I
accurate.
was like, all
Yeah.
right, that tracks.
Yeah,
That
that
tracks.
tracks. Yeah. That's so funny.
um, so at Animae and now Le Coq, you've woven. We've been talking about Asian flavors,
Hmm.
Filipino food. You woven Asian flavors into dishes in ways that are bold, but intentional,
Yes.
not expected. What does innovation look like for you when working with deeply personal flavors? And how do you decide what to preserve, what
Oh,
to
yeah.
reinterpret, and what to maybe push?
Um, I mean, okay, like there's always this conversation about traditional and authentic, right? Um, but when people say, well, oh, that's not real palabok, which is like a noodle dish, right? Because I make it with bucatino, I'm like, well, it's authentic to me.
Mm,
Like I grew up here eating pasta on Wednesday and Mexican food on Friday and then having Jewish food on Sunday.
mm,
Like it is authentic to
mm,
me as a
mm.
person,
Yeah, to
and
your experience.
it's to my experiences. And most food that most chefs are doing usually is out of nostalgia, and or at least food that they're like passionate about, like they experienced somewhere and it had an impact on them. So I like to say anime is basically all of my life experiences growing up as a kid in LA who spent a lot of time in the car killing time, and it's just results of that on a plate.
Hmm.
um and so yeah, I guess that's what I'm just trying to do in anime. It's like bucatini instead of a rice noodle, something a humble sausage like tocino, which is like a humble, usually like pork shoulder that's just marinated and it's bright pink,
Mm,
and it's a breakfast thing that's looked like as a piece of bacon in the morning
hmm.
like we eat.
Hmm.
But I changed it into this pork tomahawk with really good quality pork, got the belly on loin, like almost 2 inches thick,
Oof,
you know what I
that was
mean?
good.
And it's like you look at it and you're like, that's not tocino,
Yeah.
but when you eat it you're like, oh shit, that's tocino.
Mm,
And
mm,
so it's that surprise moment of presenting our food in a different way, but still very, you still have some sort of connection with it because you understand what I'm doing.
mm,
Like and then like it gives you like kind of a head turn, like, oh, yeah, but there's an art to it, and I think I found the happy middle where you present it a different way, but when you eat it, it still brings you back.
hmm.
And it's that ratatouille moment, like
Mm,
some people describe it, where you're like,
hmm.
okay, I wasn't expecting that, but I felt it
Hmm.
because it maybe brought you back to a family party. And I get that a
Mm,
lot too. It's
mm,
like, yo, like I haven't ate it like this since like my grandma's cooking.
mm,
And then if somebody tells me that, that means I hit it. You know what I mean? It's a happy balance of like, it's so hard that's like almost obsessive. Like
mm,
I've like presenting in a way where you look at it, you're like, okay, that looks really pretty, but eats how it eats. Um, does it hit the heartstrings? And is it different enough where people be like, oh yeah, that's different?
Hmm.
And it's I now that I say it out loud, it's very difficult because it's like you said, intention.
Mm.
But I think about so many factors and so many like things to equal one plate that I think at the end of the day, if it brings you back to a point or it makes you feel, or you're like, that's, or simply that's just really good, then I did my job. You know what I mean? um but I feel that way mostly about the Filipino food. But I think the art is also that knowing food.
Mm.
I feel like there's a lot of people who think, oh, just because you put a bunch of Asian shit together, it's going to equal Asian food. Like,
Mm.
no,
Mm.
it doesn't work that way. Like, Vietnamese food has a certain way. Like, it has like contrast of cold and hot and textures and fresh and and acid, and then Thai food is like goes different way depending on regional. Same thing with Filipino food. And so I think if you go with intention and actually do the work
Hmm.
and research it, and you go about it right and make sure you're hitting the points of whatever cuisine you're describing,
Hmm.
then it works. Or it could be simplest thing like I have wagyu fat potatoes with koji sour cream and Chinese sausage jam. And honestly, that was a result of me trying to come up with a potato dish that was Asian, because
Hmm.
I had I guess a steakhouse, right? It's their steaks on the menu. I kept getting asked for French fries and potatoes, but Asians don't eat potatoes like that. We
Hmm.
eat rice and noodles and
Hmm.
starches. But I kept getting asked for potatoes. I'm like, okay. And I kept trying, like, what Asian dish is like potato forward? And I had to think backward. I'm like, oh, well, it's more of American thing and more European. I'm like, okay, let me switch this up. So I thought about a baked potato, and that's what I ended up
Mm.
with Asian flavors. And it hits, and it's such a simple thing. But
Hmm.
when you eat it, you're like, yo, that's a baked potato.
Hmm. Hmm.
And but it's nostalgic to me
Yeah.
because I grew up here with a baked potato at Laurie's with a
Hmm.
proper prime rib, you
Yeah.
know. And that's like one of my favorite meals of all time. It's like
Yeah.
a proper prime rib.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like I could go on and on about food, like,
Yeah. I
and
mean,
what inspires me or why I do what I do, or
I think again, there's a balance. Like, if you're hitting on things that you pull from your experience, that then gives someone this ability to feel this nostalgic moment
mm-hmm.
because they have context.
Yes,
But then there's going to be a group of people who have no context,
yeah.
but you also just want them to have a brilliant
But
time
you just
and,
got
and,
to
and, and
deliver.
enjoy.
Yeah.
And you just have to deliver
And
something
that's why I'm saying
delicious.
it's a point from a simple thing of nostalgia to just delivering on something that tasty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes there's a lot of stuff we can get caught up in just how a plate looks,
Yeah.
and you forget how it eats, and whether it's like, honestly, I'm tired of subtle. Like, I want in your face, like, give me flavor.
Mm.
And
Mm.
I've been surprised with a lot of great meals in San Diego.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And like, it's what I want. I was like,
Yeah.
give it to me more.
Yeah.
And I always say anime is not subtle.
Mm.
Like, it's very in your face,
Mhm.
very flavor forward, acid. You
Mhm.
know, like, it's just very unapologetic.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's basically what I'm trying to bring
Mhm.
to anime. And I think at the end of the day, if you just give people a good plate of food and a good environment and good music, it's a good time.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
are gonna come back.
It's typically a recipe for
A good
something
time.
special.
Yeah, man. And so it's like it sounds not that hard,
Yeah.
but it is hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to be intentional, and it starts at the top,
Yeah.
and works itself down. Yeah.
How do you stay a student? Because you talked about, earlier,
Mm.
like it's important to kind of know about all of these things, different cultures, different spectrum of Asian food,
Mhm.
of other foods, but also you've been influenced by so many other things. Like,
Yeah.
how do you continue to stay a student while also like having to execute at the level that you have to at two restaurants?
I mean, I mean, humility, I guess. I don't know. Um, I feel like if you start having an ego where you think your food is better than everybody else's or whatever the hell it may be, and then you're like, well, why should I eat there? I can do that myself. I'm like, it's not about you doing it yourself. Yeah,
Mhm.
you know you're talented. It's about just experiencing it in different ways.
Mhm.
And if everybody is great in their own way, and there's no way I could possibly be good at everything.
Mhm.
And so I'd rather go to other people and try their food and see how they're doing it in our way, and and that's how I stay inspired,
Mhm.
and it's, I don't think it's that hard, honestly. I really don't think it's that hard to stay a student.
Mm,
But do you have to try? Yeah. Like
mm.
you also have to get over yourself and be like, yeah, I can do that, but I want to this person is really freaking awesome. I'm going to go try over
You have
there
to
and
stay curious
yeah, and
too.
stay curious and like I tell my cooks all the time, it doesn't cost a lot to be able to try new food. You could be inspired by a hole in wall on the corner of the street,
Hmm.
or you can be inspired by like a 10-course tasting menu.
Hmm.
Like, but you don't know if those two experience will equal something else.
Mm,
And but I do tell them, I was like, if you eat like shit, you're gonna cook like shit.
mm,
And if you don't expand your horizon, then you're in your own little box and you're gonna get stuck eventually.
mhm.
And the only way is like traveling to experiencing culture. Sometimes it's not just about the taste, it's about the setting, and I think there's a
Yeah,
lot of us, it's like where you have a simple meal, but whatever's happening around
of
you
course.
is
The smells,
so
the
sick. Yeah,
sounds,
or the
the just
sounds.
everything.
Yeah, and then if you could recreate just the environment as a whole, is like that could be just the key right there.
For sure.
And that could be the next restaurant that you're trying to open and be
Hmm.
like, yo, this is a vibe.
Hmm.
And that's I'm just open.
Hmm.
And I think that's really, really important for growth. And especially in this industry when there's so many people, like everyone, like to be at the JBF award and to be amongst those people, I'm like, even now I'm just like, what the hell? Like, how am
Hmm.
my name was on that screen?
Hmm.
But even to win or lose, it's like to be in that company is freaking awesome.
Hmm.
But to be able to get there, like you gotta expand your thing somehow.
For sure.
Yeah, you
For
gotta
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's such a milestone. It's a massive milestone. So
Yeah.
congratulations, but more so, and we've talked about it a little bit already, like it's a platform.
Yes,
It's
it's
become
an
it's
opportunity.
an
Yeah.
opportunity. It's become a platform for discovery and just broadening your
Mm-hmm.
horizon in a lot of ways, and kind of being a disciple for your food and the region and
Yeah.
and kind of everything. But um how, and you've talked about it a little bit, like how are you using this moment, not just to uplift yourself and your
Mm-hmm.
team, but others as well?
Um, I don't know. It sounds maybe it sounds kind of lame, but I didn't see a lot of people like me growing up in this industry. Um, you know,
I don't think that's lame.
yeah, like like it.
That was facts.
Yeah, I didn't like.
Yeah.
You don't see a 4'11" Filipino person of color who's queer in this industry having a platform and
Hmm.
being able to represent not only their restaurant but their culture, like all of the things like, um, and so I think for me, I think it's just simply that. I seeing somebody who looks like them and saying, "Hey, it's possible to be in this career and be in a leadership role." And push against the grain and kind of just stand up and be who you are. And so I think I see it in my team. Like
Hmm.
my team is 50% Filipino. My sous chefs are all women. And it's been like that for the last 4 years.
Hmm.
And, it's a rare thing,
Hmm.
and I hate to say that, but it's true. And one point they were all Filipino. Yeah. So it's even more rare. So,
Hmm.
um, I think for somebody in somewhere in the United States or wherever is looking at me and being like, hell yeah. You know what I mean? And that's the people who I do it for. And
Hmm.
it's crazy. I saw um, Tim from Kasama.
Hmm.
He texted me a picture randomly and he was in like Canada at a pop up. And then there's a picture of myself on the wall next to Gone from Gagan from in Thailand
Mm.
and Anthony Bourdain, and I was like, "Where are you?" I was like, "What the heck is
Where is
that?"
this?
And he's like, "Dude," he's like, "You're inspiring people." I'm like, "Wait, wait, wait, what is it? You got me next to two really great chefs. What kitchen are you in
Yeah.
that my face is in a frame?" It
Yeah.
was so random and it was so. And then he's like, "I'm in this kitchen in Canada doing a collab dinner, and majority of the staff is Filipino." And they really look up to you. And I was
Amazing.
just like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm just going about, worrying about my team and,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but again,
You don't, yeah, but you don't know it's the impact that you also have and the influence you have
yeah,
somewhere across the world.
yes, you have no idea. And that's what's great about social media. Like you might not even have met this person. Like, and it happened to me at GBF. A
Hmm.
young chef was saying, "Oh, I follow you on Instagram, and she's tinier than I am, and she's like, I'm chef, and I admire what you do." And I'm like, okay, there's a reminder
Mm.
of why I do what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
it's
love
pretty
that.
cool.
That's a beautiful story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, it was so random though. I texted, I was like looking, I was like,
You're like, what
what
is
the hell?
this?
I was like, my name is. I'm like, what the heck is this? And they're like, oh no, they really admire you. I was like, oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
That's really nice. Yeah,
So from calamasi
yeah,
to karaoke to lechon,
yeah.
food is central. We talked
Yes,
about it earlier. Food is
yes.
so central to many Filipino family gatherings. If I crashed a Monsod family gathering,
Yeah.
what's the dish or
Oh
maybe
my gosh.
dishes uh, that would be on the table, and what's the memory that's tied to that still lives on today?
Mm. That's my dad's barbecue.
Mm.
My dad makes these barbecue skewers, and I try to get the recipe, dude. But he's definitely like,
Is
"Oh,
he
you
holding
just
back?
no,
What's
no, not at all." But it's like one of those things. It's like you could try to, like I always say, you could give a person one of my recipes, but will it turn out the same? No. You could literally give the measurements and everything, but it might not. It still won't turn out the same.
Yeah.
And I highly believe that because it's a feel.
Mm.
And so my dad, he makes his barbecue sticks is like, and he puts like stuff in it. And I'm watching. I'm like, Dad, do you ever write this down? He's like, no, but he tried to, and I put it in there, not the same. And I'm just like, so it's become one of those staples at a family barbecue that he makes enough to cook at the barbecue, and he packs raw Ziploc bags
Mhm.
for people to do it at their house.
Oh wow.
Because all my aunts and uncles, oh, like your barbecue's here, dude, I gotta pack that up. You
Mhm.
gotta get, and so he makes like triple the amount just to be able to pass out to everybody.
Mhm.
So that like is like a staple. I'm like blessed enough that both my parents can cook, which is probably how I ended up being a good cook. But
Mhm.
like that is like one thing.
Mhm.
Um, Probably a good spread of Filipino food, like
Mhm.
legit a buffet line.
Mhm.
Buffet line.
Love a buffet line.
My mom pulling out her old hollow machine that she's
Mm.
had for years, where you make shaved ice on point, and it's like a hollow bar.
Mm.
Um, those remind me of like family summers,
Mm.
and just a crazy amount of food,
Yeah.
and where you eat just all throughout the day. I remember we in the summers when I was younger that like the my aunt would cook and everybody would come over, and it's like this giant table of just all the kids, and then we'd all eat, and then it'd be like a shift change, and then like all the aunts and uncles would be like, hey, get up, it's our turn.
Yeah.
And then they all have their turn, and then we're all just playing because all the kids are fed,
Yeah.
and we're running around, and they're just eating and conversating and playing mahjong
Yeah.
and having a beer, and things called like palutan.
Mhm.
So palutan is drinking culture. It's drinking food,
Mm.
and this is something that like I would love to do as a pop up or something, where
Mm.
just like something where you eat with a beer. It's like snacking culture, where it's like
Mm.
grilled meat or maybe like a salty snack, or
Mm.
so that's happening in one corner where we have the main meal. And then there's like a second meal where they start to cook like random things,
Mhm.
so that they chop it up and you eat it while you're drinking beer and
Mhm.
playing mahjong, and the kids are all running around and like grabbing a piece and running away,
Mhm.
like stuff like that. So that's what I picture. And then karaoke in the background, my uncle maybe singing,
Mm.
and then people talking shit to each other, giving each other a hard time, but it's
Yeah.
all
Yeah. That's
good
love.
banter.
That's love. You
Yeah,
know.
good banter. I was like I was made for a kitchen because my family prepared
Yeah.
me for it.
Yeah.
About talking shit to each other. Yeah. But that's kind of like all things and sounds that I imagine when it comes to like a family party. Yeah.
So when are we doing this?
Dude, I'm down. Dude, I love to have a great party.
Do you think
It's
Lily can help
crazy.
coordinate?
My family has
this?
they can influence people to have a good time.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I legit have one cousin named Chin Chin. Like she came in for a pop up at the bar. I was doing these bar takeovers, and just having her there exude our family energy got the bar to just kind of buy in and just have a good time. It was
Yeah.
kind of crazy, and it's just like it's
You got to
amazing.
We need to bottle that up.
Yeah.
We need to bottle that
Yeah,
up in some
yeah.
way.
You need that loud friend.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
You need that loud friend to hype you up,
Yeah.
and that's definitely my family.
I
It's
love
it's
I love
a
that.
good
It
time.
sounds like a beautiful a beautiful, obviously not without its challenges,
Oh, of course, it's
like
family.
it's
Yeah,
it's
it's
family, but
family.
it's so beautiful to be able to look back on those memories and
Yeah.
then pull from them,
Yes,
you
and
know.
that's honestly those are moments like my friends make fun of me and my partner makes fun because I have like this photographic memory
Mm,
and like I can remember places, times and like feeling and like I can see it in front of me and like
mhm,
I can also taste it, which is even better.
mhm,
And so I have a lot of those in my brain that I try to exude onto a plate.
mhm,
And it's like and then yeah, it's that's like what's the coolest thing about this job. It's like any art student who wants to do something cool. I think that like food is such a great medium
mhm,
because it's something that you can ingest
mm,
and feel.
mm,
Like it's so crazy to me, and I think
mhm,
I got addicted to that feeling.
mhm,
And I think that's why most of us do this, and there's that drive to make that
mhm,
best bite for you to feel what I feel and be like
mhm,
make that face of like, oh damn, that was so freaking good, dude.
mhm.
I'm like, hell yeah, that was good, dude. Hell yeah. I'm like, that's what I want.
Mhm.
That's what I want, and that's what drives me. Yeah.
I love that. Tara, what's a life lesson you can leave us with?
Oh man. Uh, I try to lead every conversation with empathy. Um, yeah. I think I've being a leader, I've encountered so many people and different walks of life, and you don't know their story. You don't know why they act the way that they act, or why it's like it's not just necessarily what's happening on right then and there on the outside. There could be a story, and I think that's why a lot of people respect me at work because it's like I'm firm and fair,
Mm,
and I don't come in guns a blazing, and you know what I mean. Like I try to lead with empathy, and I think leading with that kind of you know helps anybody because then you kind of like put yourself in their shoes and then you're a little more understanding,
mhm,
and I think and have a little more tolerance and all the things, and I think that make kind of put you as ease just being somebody who's living in this
mhm,
world, I guess you
mhm,
could say. And for me, working with people, I think that's like one of the biggest lessons I've learned over time is that leading with empathy always wins
mhm.
versus
I
just
agree.
assuming. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree. Well, thank you so much. Congratulations on all your success.
Thank
And
you.
I'm ready
Thanks
to
for
get back.
having
I'm
me.
ready to get back down to San Diego.
Yeah, I mean, this is easy conversation. I can talk all day about food and life and all the things because this is what
This is
makes
what
us
we love.
happy.
This is what
Yeah,
this is what
man,
we love.
building connection and over things that we love. I think this is it's a great thing that you're doing.
It's funny, the thing that we talk about a lot is what we're trying to do is create content that nourishes connection.
Yeah,
That's kind of the way that the way that we're talking about it. And obviously between us, but then for people to get a glimpse who maybe know you or don't know you,
yeah, yeah,
who then go, I want to know her though. And, and
yeah,
and part of wanting to know you may just be I want to try the food,
yeah, yeah,
or and the more bold people, I want to work with her. I want to reach out. I want to collaborate with her. I want to, all of
yeah.
these things.
I
So,
mean, what you see is what you get with me. Like I have nothing to hide, and I'm not
mm,
trying to fake anything. It's like
mm,
and I appreciate this conversation because it's just a very raw
mm,
conversation of who I am and what I do, and leading to wherever it leads. And
yeah,
those sometimes end up with the best conversations. So I appreciate you having me.
no,
So
same. Thank you for being honest and vulnerable and just being real. Keep being that way.
yeah,
You know,
it's not that hard.
yeah.
It's not that hard.